Hi guys, Natalie here for Only One United. We're back again. It's been a while. Hi Lanzel. Yeah, great win for us. Obviously, I'm here with my guy. I'm not good at this thing. Left, right hand side, Atanu. Atanu, thanks for coming on again.
For having me, Nat. As always, really happy to be here, and of course, after a good win. Sorry, Lindsay.
Hi Karen, saying hi to Atanu as well. And obviously, I'm here with Lindsay from the whole 115 Yards podcast. It's a women's football podcast. They mainly talk about Villa. We're going to have a co-host on as well. So, wait for that. If someone pops up, then you know who it is, Freya. But yeah, Lindsay, welcome. Welcome to the Madhouse.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Really appreciate it, and it's nice to be here.
No, good. Everyone is happy here today, Lindsay. I'm sorry. And I'm sure you're happy as well, but we will get into it. Listen, I just want to go straight to Tanu. Tanu, what do you think about the result, about the game? In my opinion, Man United deserved it, to be honest. I know that Villa scored their goal first and they would have liked to have seen it out, but I think the fact that we just scored straight away after, then for me, minute it went 1-1, that was it. I just knew that we were going to, get the 3 points. I think throughout the whole match, I thought we were going to win it. It's just a case of when, and, maybe Villa scoring first sort of woke us up, and then bang, that's when you saw the clinical edge that we hadn't seen all, hey, Tom, all game. But yeah, Tanya, what do you think, I suppose, as the game as a whole? We'll go into little bits and talk about everything, but as a whole, do you think we were good value for the win?
Yeah, I think this might be an biased opinion as well, but I knew that United will win, but at the same time, Villa were defending really well. Like I'll give them that. I wasn't very sure that Villa might be able to shoo away our attacks, but yeah, overall a really good performance from Villa as well. I know the result wasn't in their favor, but the way they were set up and the way Kala Ward managed the in-game management style. It was really good. And from United's perspective, I would say it was really refreshing to see Jays as the striker, and she was drifting wide as well, which gave Lucia Garcia the opportunity to play the striker. So a lot of interchanging going on, and I personally feel that Hanson was really good for Villa in the opening few minutes when she caused a lot of trouble down the left flank. And honestly, I feel you could see that Blundell and Gabby George weren't forward all of the time. Like most of the times, Blundell stayed back because I feel Villa had that agility, that speed that could have caused real trouble on counter attacks. So United played the cautious game, and they said, "Okay, fine, we'll keep the defense as it is, and we'll play through the midfield and through the wings." And that's what they did. I feel uh, the focal point of our attacks was Katie's LM, Ella Toon. Like we could see Ella Toon in a better role when we compare it to last season, and Gabby George defending really, really good. And somebody who really impressed me from Villa would be Daphne Van Domselaar. I personally feel she has been one of the best signings in the WSL transfer window and in the world as well, because getting such a good keeper for free is amazing. I think she went for a free. Correct me if I'm wrong, but really, really good signing for them as well. And she showed real class as well. Like the two goals that we scored were unfortunate, and you cannot blame the keeper. But when we talk about Villa's goal, amazing. Like Rachel Daly strike, like United's defense switched off. Mary Earp should have done better near the like the, in the because the goal was near post. Earp should have done better in my opinion. If it was far post, I wouldn't have put fingers at defenders and goalkeepers. But yeah, it's part of the game. Rachel Daly is a really good striker, and she got a goal. And yeah, I feel Villa's season shouldn't be defined by this result. Like I'm just being neutral here. I don't support Villa as much, but I do feel that they have a good chance of progressing when compared to last season. Whereas with United, like top finish first should be the aim as always. Let's see. Next game is tough. The Arsenal game. Sorry, I've been talking too much, but yeah, I'm
No,
really
no.
happy as well.
No, I agree. Daphne kept them in it, to be honest, and we will go into some of the saves that she made, but definitely in that first half, I think if she wasn't in the goal, we would have gone in, maybe 1 or 2 up. Lindsay, I suppose you've listened to me, you've listened to Tan, you can see the comments coming down the side. From a Villa perspective, what did you think of that game as a whole? I mean, like I said, we will go into the decisions, etc., and the individual performances, but just as a whole, you watching it, were you nervous going into it? Were you excited? What do you expect? Do you think you've improved? Just generally from a Villa perspective and of that game.
So for us, we went in expecting a draw, but we expected it to be a hard draw. We expected to be pushed all the way. It'd be a really competitive game. Overall, we can be pleased with what we achieved. We can feel hard done by with the stuff that you'll talk about later. Some of the decisions where it could have been a draw. And that to us would have been a fairer. Obviously, you think differently, and you're perfectly entitled to feel that. If the shoe was on the other foot, I would feel the same. But I thought we did really well. It was a good start to the season. We've got a lot of tired legs from the World Cup. There is on both teams, and I just thought that we gave a really good account of ourselves, and we should be proud of what we did and the character that we showed when we went down to 10 players. And I'm really pleased. And like you said, Daphne, I feel really confident having her in goal. I don't want to say she's an upgrade on Hannah because I really rate Hannah, but just her control of the back line and everything was so much better. She's not perfect. Her distribution needs to be better, but that's something you can work on. But I thought that she made a big difference for us. And some of our players caused you an absolute nightmare. So it was a really good. I was at the game, and it was really good. That's why my voice is gone, and that's why I think we gave a really good account of ourselves, and that shows that where we left off last season in 5th, we can pick up this season and keep pushing. And also, I was quite surprised by the way that Skinner played. The formation that he played and the players that he played, because he's got so much firepower on the bench. So many fantastic players. I thought that you would have given us more problems than you did, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I think you're all just bedding in and gelling because it's the start of the season and it's a slow start. You've lost so many players; it's hard to gel really quickly. But I'm really excited to see what you do for the rest of the season and also in the Champions League. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll say it for you, Lindsay. I do think Daphne is an upgrade just for my watching of it, of Hampton. I'm not saying that Hampton's bad. I just think that Daphne is better. And in terms of like what you said, I mean, Attorney, I'll come to you. What do you think about what Lindsay just said about Skinner and what he played in the formation? Because someone I want to touch on, a name's come up a lot, Jace, and I think I even said it, if the keeper wasn't there, Jace would have had 1 or 2. And, the way that we play. And for me, I think I can see where Lindsay's coming from in that, yeah, of course I would have wanted to see Hinny from the start. I wanted to see Guerrero, Irene. I wanted to see Lisa play. But at the same time, the way I look at it is that these girls haven't played at all together. That's not slugging off Lindsay's point. This is just me just saying, they haven't played together at all. And yeah, we have signed a lot of players, and I'm thinking about where's Mellard? God, when she's ready and when she's firing, geez, next to Jace, next to Galton, Garcia, we're talking. Even Mark said it today. This is the best attack in the world, and I'm not saying it is, but it is up there. And I feel like a lot of people are underestimating the attack in a way, because Jace, that's a striker. Since I've been watching Man United Women, that is a striker I've wanted to see. Yeah, people say this and that, for people making little comments, but for me, if shooting is on point, we saw that she scored the goal in the pre-season. Obviously, she had the shots today. Like I said, if Daphne wasn't in that goal, that first shot that she has, in my opinion, goes in. So, people, there are naysayers about her saying, oh, she's this, she's that, she's pulling out wide too much. But I think she sort of played the game. And then when she pulled out wide, Garcia was in the middle of Galton. And we know Galton can run in the middle. So I think it's going to work. I mean, just your view on, I suppose, the tactics that Mark put out, the personnel that he put out. He did bring in Hinnie in the end, so we did see her. But do you think it's going to take time? You know, Vic's saying here they need to build an understanding. Jace looks so good. We're going to see that rotation a lot better, a lot more, maybe. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I do agree with Lindsay's point that it'll take time to gel. At the same time, I would say like the front three at least. I had predicted the same front three because like I wrote a preview for a website and in there I wrote that uh, Jays and Lucia Garcia will try to switch positions here and there, and they did that a lot. To some extent, I would say like on the right wing because we were so used to Ona Bhatia being the creative outlet, uh, we didn't get the same kind of in like the basically the progression from the right hand side. So Jays had to do all the work on the right hand side whenever she drifted. Sometimes it was Lucia Garcia, sometimes it was Lad who was going towards the right. So it'll take time to gel. Like the tactics and the instructions are a little different this time around. Your forward isn't dropping in to help with the ball progression. It's all about your forwards interchanging positions. So I would say like regarding the front three, that's the front three that I had predicted. In the midfield, I think Skinner wanted to play a little cautious because this is his go-to midfield trio, where he plays Lad, Zellem, and Tooney together. In some games, it's good to play these players together, but at the same time, we could see that breaking Aston Villa's defense was a little tricky for us because sometimes Aston Villa were dropping in. I'm not saying that they were parking the bus, but they were dropping too deep into the defense and helping out. So basically, it was kind of a low block. So to go past that low block was a little difficult for us. And in those games, I feel we'll miss the brilliance of Wilde Borisa, who was gone. I'll definitely bring her name in every preview and like in every video we do. But feel that we needed a ball carrier in this game so that more midfielders could be involved in the attack. Regarding the defense, I would say because Jade isn't fully fit, this was the go-to back four. Gabby George did so well as the left back, and I do feel that she kept Alicia Lehman out of the game for too long. I think Sarah Mailing as well. I'm not sure if she was playing. I don't remember the starting 11 for Villa, but she was playing as a fullback. So she like Gabby George kept both of them quite like throughout the game to an extent because if you see Villa's heat map as well and the way Villa progressed the ball, most of it came from the left hand side. I'm not sure if that's what they do every time, but in this particular game, you could see that their main creative and ball progression outlet was from the left hand side where Kirsty Hanson was playing. So I feel Gabby George did really well there over there. Mary Earps didn't have to save too many goals, to be honest, because the two defenders, the Millie and Maya partnership, did all the work for us. So, like regarding the question that you asked, I would say it's open to interpretation. Like everybody has their own opinion about how which team should have played. Uh, I feel this was the correct team, considering that Hinata is like playing for the first time in Europe. She's played in the J League. I'm not sure if it's the J League or the particular name, but she's played in Japan. She's played the World Cup for sure, but to adapt to WSL, it'll take a little more time for her. So I would say she might play a little bigger role in the next game against Arsenal, and maybe we see Skinner change things around where he starts Irene because I definitely feel that playing Zellem and Lat together in every game wouldn't solve anything because it will lead to fatigue issues. So when you have players like Nelson, when you have players like Irene, you need to rotate the squad well. I'm not questioning Skinner right now. I'm just putting forward my thoughts about him. And like when you think about last season when there wasn't much rotation going on, so to make that unpredictability factor true, wherein United become a little unpredictable for opposition teams to scout, I feel that rotation should be a little more. But yeah, it's starting of the season. Of course, he has to get the starting 11 perfect. So he'll experiment a little, and things might go wrong, things might go right, but he has all the tools that he needs to challenge for the title at least.
Yeah, definitely. I do think we will see. I mean, he's coming. He's talked about it. We'll see more people. I mean, Kevin saying terrible about Emma, and yeah, I mean, she we saw when she came on in pre-seasons the impact that she was having against these teams. And you know, I'm not trying to, when I say these teams, Lindsay, I'm not being disrespectful on Villa. I'm just saying, I suppose for us, there's like we're in that top 4 team, and then like Villa are in and around. And obviously, Lindsay, just from what Atanu has said then about the way that you guys were progressing it, and it was more down the right than the left, and you know, Gabby Georgie felt. But I mean, your goal did come down Gabby's side, I think, yeah. So that was, we said say, you know, we felt that was a, you know, an individual error. One is going to happen. No one's perfect for 90 minutes, and while everyone's settling in, you know, you need that, don't you? So Lindsay, just from what Atanu, then I'll touch on I suppose the incidences in the game. But you know, when Atanu says, you know, Mary Earps wasn't really challenged and the defenders had it, what's your view? And then I suppose, do you usually progress it down the left, or is it usually the right, or how do you see Villa's style?
So for me, I think both goalkeepers had fairly quiet games, considering I think a lot of the balls won in the middle and on the wings. It's all that rather than shots on goal, which is always exciting to watch. We do a lot through Kirsty. She's got, well, you know yourselves, she's got pace, she's got confidence. I think when we brought Leon on for Lehman, it became a different challenge. It's tired legs against fresh legs, and that was the difference down that side. Defenders, I wouldn't say they kept us quiet. Obviously, we'll come on to that. About a few decisions that were made, which we politely, I would say, feel a bit aggrieved about. That didn't go our way. If we're being fair, then
go into them, Lindsay. And you can go into it now, because for me, I think every decision made was correct. That's what I'm saying. So you say it, and then I'll say it.
Okay, so I'll get myself kicked off the pod then. So what I'll say is the male associate did 2 challenges which were bookable. So I do question her being on the pitch. And then there was another incident on the touchline with Lucy Stanforth, where we had a huge crack, and people by me thought she'd broken something. That didn't get a card. There was a headbutt to the back of Alicia Lehman in the back of the neck on the top of the spine. Again, bookable. And that would have changed the game, because the red card for Kirsty, whilst by the rules of the game it is a red card, it's dangerous play. Can't really argue with that. There's no malice in it. I think she just didn't realise her awareness, and that's what caused that. But if that's a red card and that was a bit of a soft one, then the male associate was definitely at least a yellow, and at least 2 yellows. So I think for us, we felt like the refereeing didn't go correctly, and by that it's the standard of refereeing, it's not consistent. Like if they'd all got yellow cards and red cards, then fair enough, you know, you can't really argue with that. But you can't have one rule for one and one rule for another, and this is where the professionalisation of the referees needs to come in to get the standards up. And that penalty shout for Rachel Daly, it'd be controversial to say, but that looks like she gets the player before the ball, which is penalty. So ultimately, I think it could have been a draw if the decisions had been fair. But you know, refereeing, as we know, isn't consistent. Is there a shout for VAR to come in? Possibly, yeah. But yeah, we weren't happy with that. And if it had been a fair loss, then we'd be all right with it. But because we felt like we were penalised against, we just feel that in itself is a bit of a bitter pill to take. Like when we played you last time and Millie Turner won that last minute Fergie Time header at the Bescott, we went home sad, but we know we could accept that because, you know, the better side won at the end. and it was literally down to small errors and clinical finishing that was the difference. But with this one, we're like, nah, we're not happy with that. But we just got to be aggrieved, haven't we? And not look too bitter. But that, that's coming from a fair point. There's a lot of the fan club that feel quite strongly about it and would use more colourful language and would be more angry. But obviously, I'm on a Man United pod, so I can't get too angry.
You say what you've got to say, because I'm going to get into them as well. And I'm going to go on it how I saw it. The first Maya on, because that's the one that's getting all the big shouts, and I think Carla is the one who started this shout that Maya should have got red carded by the body check and Emily Salmon. And I looked at it, and on the Friday night I went to go and watch everyone knows him, Nemanja Vidic, and that body check just reminded me of everything that he does. That's what it reminded me of. And I watched that penalty shout, and I was right in front of it because it was right where I was. And the way she went in, I'm still thinking about it, because that was just, she just got the ball, boom, turned her body, ran off. And I just thought that was just, and yeah, Daly went flying in the air. But again, it reminded me of the Nemanja Vidic tackle where you come in, you get the ball, but you get the player and bang. That's what I love. And I listened to a podcast of May, and she was talking about defending, and she just says, bang, that's what it's about. And anyone who watches Maya, that's what she's done. She did it versus Beth England. She did it versus Bunny Shaw. She makes these last-ditch tackles, and people are saying, why is she in that position? Her positioning was better. She won't need to make it. But, for me, I love that she makes those kind of tackles. That's everything I want in a defender. I think there was a Sky Sports, this ref watch thing, and I think they said, maybe it could have been a yellow and a free kick, that thing on Ebony. This one, never a red. I know, you're on a United channel, maybe a yellow and a free kick. Yeah, so I agree with you that maybe you can feel hard done by, because that was right on the edge of the box. But in terms of penalties and red cards, I don't even know which standing one happened, and I don't know the leisure labour one, so I can't comment, because them ones I've not even really seen, to be honest. I mean, I think there was a penalty that United should have had. And if anything, if we're talking about penalties, there was one where Rachel Williams headed it basically straight at goal. Don't know which player it was for, or maybe it was Stanley or Patton, and it just hit her on the hand. And yeah, she was very close to her. We've seen these kind of things where if they're too close, but at the same time, if you're in the box and it hits your hand and it's going towards goal, for me, that's a penalty. So, like you're saying, we want the whole standard to raise. But it's not even you, Lindsay. It's not even Villa fans. Of course, Villa fans are going to say this. But I think it's the whole thing. Like, everyone's talking about Mayer should have been sent off and Villa penalties. And I'm thinking, for me, the most clear penalty, if we had VAR, would have been that. Well, maybe not for United, because we don't get anything on VAR. But for United women, the most clear-cut penalty for me was the Rachel Williams header towards goal. And the girl was standing in front of her, and it hit her hand.
I'd have to disagree with you, because when she doesn't move she doesn't make her body bigger. She's literally just got her hands in front of her body. So it's not like she's moved her hands towards the ball. But obviously that's where it's up for debate, isn't it? An interpretation, and that's where the referee needs to make that decision. And it's a tough decision, the same as with the May and Rachel. Did she get the player or the ball? And then afterwards, was it a handball on 2 occasions? Or did she get the ball and clear it? And I think that's where the referee standard needs to get up, so that we can have obviously people are always going to be aggrieved, because one side is going to be aggrieved, but at least it's fair and consistent, and that's what we're lacking. And we noticed at the World Cup, and we're noticing it again at WSL, and I'm guessing it's happening in the Championship as well, with some very dubious calls. And we just need that standard of refereeing to come up, so that we're not having these such heated debates about it's just like a one thing in the game rather than the whole game, which just isn't on.
Yeah, can I say though, Lindsay, as well? For me, I think Sporty said it on. For me, there's this talk of VAR, but we need full-time officials before we can even get VAR for me. And I know people don't rate the officials anyway, but a lot of these women, and we see it with players, we see it with part-time players. Villa were part-time, and only United weren't, but Sheffield have gone part-time to full-time, and you have these teething issues. Even when you go from part-time to full-time, you still don't see the people getting the full potential. So I know they don't probably, they're not hard at work doing a 9 to 5, but they still have to work. I don't even think they get paid a lot. So for me, I think, because I've hearing a lot of it, it's not just Villa, it's Emma Hayes said it, there's other podcasts saying it, BBC is saying it, hey, BBC don't help. I don't think they do, because we haven't even got full-time, these women and men that are doing the WSL aren't focused 100% on refereeing at the weekend. That should be their only thing. I'm refereeing this big game at the weekend, but instead they're thinking about this and that. And I just want to say about the whole Maya handball. I've read the rules, or someone sent me the rules, and if you have your hands on the ground, it can't be a handball. If it's keeping you up or something like that, because I think she slid in, took the ball first. That's how I saw it, and then obviously she moved her arm to stand up, and that's when it hit her. And I think, if that's a handball, then the one that you're saying, the Rachel William one, is a handball as well for me. I think the handball rule in men's and women's is so messed up. No one even knows what a handball is. So I think it either just needs to go back to, if it hits your hand, it's a handball kind of thing.
I agree.
Because I think we
needs to
don't
be
know
clear.
what it is. Yeah.
And the other thing is, like we've seen with the professionalisation of the WSL, the teams, that how the standard has improved so much through paying them full-time wages, and in the championship to a degree, because only not all the teams are pro. But I think I agree with you. If we do that with our refs, then we can only drive up standards, and that's what it's about. And that's what we want to see. We want to see visibility. We want to see women officials. We want to see people who can inspire the younger generations, because not everybody wants to be a footballer. Like, there's people that want to be goalies, and being a referee is it's not a bad thing. Obviously you won't have any friends, but that's just a part and parcel of being a referee. But I think I agree with you. If we can get that standard up, then and also be clear on the rules rather than changing it mid-season, like we saw with the men's game. Like, this is a handball, then this is a handball, and then this is offside, and this is offside. It just gets blurry, and we just need to go back to basics and sort it out. And then the players know where they stand, the referees know where they stand, the fans know where they stand, and then there's just like no discussion. It either is or it isn't, and then we're not sat there going, well, it is, but it isn't, and we can just move on with the game and enjoy what we love. So I agree with you. I think, whilst VAR would be great to come along, especially in the big stadiums and the big games, especially in the Champions League and that kind of thing, where there is the capacity, I think the standard of referee needs to come up, and that's across Europe as well as the UK, and investment happen.
100%. I mean, Atani, what do you think? There's obviously comments coming in. I've put some up along the side. What do you think about all the incidences that Lindsay's brought up, that I've brought up? Obviously, you're United, but if she's looking at it neutrally, what would you say?
Regarding the handballs, like Nat and Lindsay have already summed it up, that the rules are so vague that, like, some people would think it's a handball, some people will think it's not a handball, and it's not just people, fans, it's the officials as well. They are also not sure whether it's a handball or not. So the rules are very vague right now, which need like proper clarity should be given on those handball rules. And then coming to the Maya tackle on Rachel Daly, I think that was clean. But then again, like, I'm a United fan, and honestly, if you ask me, if you ask me this question from a neutral perspective, I'll always be biased. I can never be neutral when it's my team playing. So I would definitely say it wasn't a foul, and I think she got the ball. Uh, Regarding the Ebony Salmon's, like when Maya and Ebony Salmon fought for the ball, I feel that was a foul and that was a yellow card. I don't know whether it was given a yellow card or not, but yeah, it was a yellow card in my opinion. Uh, it wasn't a red, but like, for example, it depends on the officials as well, whether they think it's a red card or not. And I think if VAR was present, that would have been a red, because that's how VAR operates these days. And it's not just I'm not just saying because it's United, but overall as well, there are very dodgy decisions given by the VAR. Yeah, that, and like Nat, I didn't see the Lucy Staniforth uh, the challenge that was on Lucy and on Alicia. So I don't know, I cannot comment on that because I didn't notice that. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but like I didn't notice it, so I don't know how the type of the challenge was. Uh, and I do agree, full-time officials before you basically integrate VAR into the women's game. And I do feel even if you integrate VAR into the women's game, then also we'll get these dodgy decisions because like it isn't perfect. Officiating is something that which like it will never be 100% perfect, and it's fine, but still the accuracy levels that we are seeing in men's football as well is not very high. Like there like already we have seen the season has just started and there are already so many dodgy decisions that have been given. So like officiating is something which I can debate on forever and ever, and we'll still not get a proper result. So, but like the Rachel Daly's and like the sliding tackle from Maya on Rachel Daly, you cannot ask me to be unfair because I'll always be unfair regarding that because it's a penalty, and if I'm the official, uh, it's a little tricky to give that because I don't know. I personally feel like she got the ball and
Yeah.
there was no contact on Rachel Daly's leg. That's what I think.
I think the
But it's open
contact.
to interpretation to everyone.
Yeah, I think the contact was as she got the ball with the first
Yeah.
foot and then the second foot, and then that's when she tripped over. But listen, it is what it is. For me, she got the ball because I see Maya do that all the
It,
time,
it,
and
it,
she
it's a little
keeps
difficult for
oh,
us
it's
to be
Maya, mate, it's
unbiased there.
Maya. Yeah, and I know Vix is saying we hope it doesn't, get a target because the way everyone's calling it dirty, and I'm just like, what? Are you okay, Maya? But listen, it is what it is. She's far from dirty. She's an absolute, for me, world class. So I know people ban that about, but like she is top WSL level player, defender, and that's why we're winning a lot of these games and won a lot of games last year. Listen, Freya, the second part, Lindsay's not alone anymore. She's coming in. Boom, Freya.
Oh, yeah, backup has arrived. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yay.
Yeah. Freya, talk to us. I don't know if you can see the comments down the side. Obviously, we've had a lot of talk. We were talking. Lindsay said, she thought a draw was fair. We're saying no, we think United deserve to win. And when United click more, this and that. Tom's said that she was too polite when talking about the the things. But listen, you heard what Atanu said about what we think about the tackles, about the yellow cards, about VAR, refs. I mean, you're coming in back up. What's your view on the tackles and the ref and the
so I just heard the back end of that. So apologies if I repeat anything. But so when we were at the game, Lindsay's probably mentioned it, and of course when you're there, you're trying to absorb everything, aren't you? And you're trying to get like the tone of the game and who's doing what and trying to get all the intricacies. And if there are any replays, they're tiny and you can't really get a grasp of it. And then you watch it back and you're like, oh, I missed that. Right. Okay. Right. Note that down. And I think I know what you're saying about My Letitia and Ebony Salmon. I think that was the big one, just because it was outside the box, so it wasn't a red, but it was cheeky. Come on, it was naughty. It was, she's not getting the ball. She's nowhere near it. So for me, again, personally, it would have been a yellow, just with that intent. But like, she is a top player. Like, I'm not taking that away from her at all. Should have been in the England squad. Absolute top defender. I remember watching her last season and just thinking, yeah, you're an absolute tank. Like, when she goes for it, she commits, doesn't she? And I think the one on Rich Daly, I heard you talking about, that change with the different angles. I don't know if you saw the different viewpoints. And in one, it looks like she got the ball. One, it looks like she didn't. And that's when you've kind of got to trust your officials, haven't you? And I think, unfortunately, there's been a lot of calls that people have really questioned and really thought, actually, that's a bit poor, that's bad. And not to be specific about Rebecca Welsh, just because she was there. I really rated her in the World Cup. I thought she was really good. So to see that standard kind of opening game, you had high expectations and you want the best team to win. And I think this is United. We're not going to take away that you're a fantastic team, second last season. And what we can, yeah, it was really good. Well done. But the fact that we were able to keep you right till the last minute, I think says more about Villa and how far we've come. I don't know if you'd agree with that. But yeah, I think for us, we predicted a 2-2. I don't know if Lindsay mentioned. And we thought the fact that we could keep you right till the end, it would have been fair, but we know football isn't fair. And at the end of the day, that header in, it's always Rachel Williams, isn't she? She comes on and scores her last minute ones. Yeah. So
yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying. We don't know. I agree. I think I've seen one angle where I think, oh, she didn't get the ball, but where we were sitting right in front of it, and when I was looking, she got the ball fully, and then obviously, Daly went down through the, because she got the ball and went round Daly kind of thing. But listen, like you're saying, I think there's too much not trusting officials because we want to. I mean, someone's saying it. I was watching it. Everything's slowed down to the minute, and you freeze frame it, and you look. So maybe that doesn't help.
You're taking that gut instinct away from the official, aren't you? And at the end of the day, we can all say, oh, the ref's against us and whatever. And there were a few calls that should have been given that weren't. And, we've all said, someone actually called us out earlier on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it, saying, no, it was definitely a red, you know nothing about football if you think this. I'm like, I want to have a conversation with you, don't come in all argumentative, we're here for to have those different viewpoints and opinions, but don't be rude. But yeah, I mean, we absolutely love Kirsty Hanson, and you can tell there's no malice, there's no intent, but we all know you go in with a high boot, the studs are up, you're going to get it. We do think the ban's a bit harsh. Again, sorry if you've already talked about it, because we had in our minds maybe 2 match, because when you're in the WSL and you've only got a couple of matches compared to the men's, that's a massive chunk of the season really you're missing. And so we need to feel like we can respect the officials. And I think it goes down to, are they full-time? Are they, what's the quality of training like? Are they, so it all comes down to, can we put our trust in them ultimately, doesn't it? Yeah.
Go on. Whoever wanted to go next.
So I think the 3-game ban is unfair. Like, I agree with Freya, because you play 22 games. If you remove 3 games and she's already played one, that's 4 games out. So she's left with around 18 games, and people will say 18 games is a lot, but then you compare it with how many games the men's team, I'll just compare it. I know the comparison isn't right, but they play 38 games in a season, in a league season. So it isn't fair that in a 22-game season you get a 3-match ban for a red card, and in an 38-game season you get another 3-match ban. So when I compare it, it's unfair. 2-match ban would have been fine. Even 1-match ban would have been fine with me. But yeah, 3-match ban is very unfair, because if you look at the number of games that a WSL team plays. And regarding the officiating, I think I've said it already, that we can discuss about officiating for 3-4 hours, but we'll never get to the final product of 100% accuracy, because even if you put VAR in, we've already seen it with men's football and with many tournaments, that every time there are dodgy decisions, every time there are some mistakes that are being committed by the VAR even. But yes, integrating full-time officials into the league would be the first step. I know we have made, the league as a whole have made steps to ensure that, but at the same time, the decision making from the officials sometimes is a little dodgy. And like Lindsay also mentioned, it is a little unfair sometimes when the decisions go in one team's favor and not in the other team's favor. It should be balanced. Why is it that you are harsh on one team and not harsh on the other team? So I do understand your point of view right now, because a lot of decisions didn't go your way, and tomorrow it might be us, Natalie and I might be angry at the officials because we didn't get a penalty, we got a red card. So from that point of view, I totally agree with your insights, and how frustrated you all must be, because I do feel that this will bite us in the back in the coming games, and maybe there might be a game where we are suffering. So yeah.
Yeah.
You just want it to be consistent at the end of the day, don't you?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, okay, if that's a red card, if that's a yellow, you know, go for it, free kick, whatever. But just consistent across both teams.
Yeah.
That's all we want, really.
I think even I know Lancel said again, there was a game that I've already thought of, Chelsea last year. We had exactly the same fouls and exactly weren't given. So I think you feel that way when it's your team more. I'm not saying that they weren't, but you know, I think, like you said, we can be here for
Like
ages
it's
talking
easy
about
for United fans to
Yeah.
say, "Oh, it wasn't a red card." Like it was a red card and all that thing, because
Yeah.
at the end we won and you didn't win. So if it was
Yeah.
the other way around, maybe we would be the one who would be complaining. So I
I
totally get
still
that
think that
point.
was a handball for United. I still think United should have had a penalty the most. So, and that was when Rachel Williams headed it to us. I think it was Anna Patton. I don't know if you remember it, Freya, but I know Lindsay said her hands were closed, but then someone before said, you know, that doesn't matter. She stopped it, or she moved her hand to this one.
Yeah, because it's then that nuance of, well, actually, what's a natural position, what's not? Could she have actually physically moved out the way when the ball's gone that quickly? It's if it's not a deliberate, let me stop it, then it's hard, isn't it? And again, down to the officials. Do you trust their judgment?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I agree with what you were saying, Freya, anyway, about that. What's her name? I do think she is one of the best referees, and
Becca Welsh, yeah.
I still think she is, even though, you know, obviously you guys are really upset with her. I still think out of a lot of them, she probably is still the best. She was a few better a few years ago, but I do think she's still top one. I just want to, I suppose, touch on something. This might be controversial. The Villa fans watching are going to be upset. You girls might be upset. It's not to upset you, please. And I love Carla Ward, so it's not to upset Carla Ward either. But this is my question. If it had finished 1-1 and pretend it was just Lucia's goal and then Rachel didn't score at the end, would Carla be saying all this? Is it just because you lost? This is my opinion. And she's trying to deflect it into... Because she did praise her team, but I think if you look at a lot of I'm not a statistician or anything like that. Tony knows a lot more better than me. But if you look at the XG and the chances created and the this and the that, really, United dominated. Yeah, maybe it didn't go fully like that. We've talked about Van Domselaar making very good saves. I mean, there was that save at 1-1 where Katie Zellen, boom, that was going top corner, man. I was ready. I was already celebrating that. So, you know, potentially if it went on 5 minutes more or whatever, you know, Man United might have on another day gone in 1-0 up, you know, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, you know. So is Carla saying, I mean, what do you two think? Do you think she's saying it because you lost, or do you think she would have said it anyway?
Lindsay, do you want to go first?
Yeah, okay. I love how you deflect onto me.
I just saw you unmute. I was like, oh, here she goes.
I think she would have said that. And I think because she's not... Obviously, when you play the game, you're always a sore loser when you lose. And that's how it is. That's part of the game. But she's not a really sore loser. And I think she's quite fair. And the fact that she gave praise to the team and said, like, you know, don't be disheartened, we've achieved a lot. And I think she wouldn't have... I think she still would have questioned some of the decisions. Would they have been less pivotal in the game because it was a draw, for your hypothetical, then maybe they wouldn't have carried so much weight in when we reflect back. And it's a general reflection of both teams. But personally, I don't think she was using it as oh, well, I lost, so I'm going to throw my toys out the pram. I think it was we were hard done by today, but the girls did well. They did great character, and let's go again. So that's the vibe that I get from Carla. If you saw her on the touchline, she was jumping around all over the place. She's like a 5-year-old that had too much pop. She was bouncing around. But yeah, that's what I think. But what do you think, Freya?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think Carla's one of those managers that she's behind her players 100%. But she, like Lindsay said, she's really fair. So if there had been rubbish and they had, you know, done whatever, she would be very honest about that. And I think it was quite good of her again to respect the match officials and just be like, look, that's out of my hands. I'll let, you know, the powers that be decide, because that was their decision. And, you know, who am I to question that? Yes, we can all say that didn't go our way and things like that. But yeah, she's always very fair. And you can just tell, we were talking about this on our pod this week, kind of everyone that's signed for Villa, they talk about Carla. And they say, we came for Carla, we talked to Carla, we saw her vision, and they're all really happy to work with her. So she's got the respect of the players, she's got the respect of the fans, and I think she's never let us down yet. And she's right. You know, like I said earlier, it shows how much Villa have progressed. The fact that we can keep up with you guys and nearly take a point off you, you know, and really compete. Whereas, as we've seen before, it's been 5-0. So yeah, it just shows you how much we're developing. So yeah, so I think she's pretty fair. She's really good. Really like.
I don't know. I didn't. I'm not saying that you guys said that I'm saying it like this, and I get why the Villa fans have come and said it like that. But I wasn't saying it as a bad thing. But we know that with managers, that's what managers do. We've seen it with Fergie, seen it with Jose, seen it with Emma Hayes. Does it? You know. When Chelsea have a bad game, they got knocked out of Europe at that time. Oh, well, we were travelling. But then it's sort of, if it's the other way around, you say, oh, we're tough, we're this, we're that, you know. So we know that managers, it's called like game management and shifting the focus, may I say, because I've just seen something come up on my thing. This is no disrespect to Villa now. Man United accumulated 2.5 XG this weekend, 1.6 more than any other team. And I can see Lanzell's comment. Everyone wants to beat United now. United are going there for a title charge. Even I heard Carla saying after on TalkSport, Man United, like, don't take anything away. These people, we're going to be up there. We're going to be, you know, well, that's what we want. That's what Mark's talking about. We want to win the title. We're talking about winning the title. So I know that these guys and the Villa fans sort of wanted to get a draw. Of course you did, you know. That would have been a great result, you know. But it's Man United. We're sort of like that, you know, boom, we're coming, we want to win. We want to win every game. So I suppose my question I've just put to the girls, do you think she would have said it as much if they had won?
And
she's deflecting a bit.
It's a little tricky for me to answer. Like, on one hand, I do like rate Carla a lot. I think she's really, really good. And like Freya has mentioned, a lot of new players have come in, have talked about Carla and how she was a deciding factor in them joining Villa. So I rate her a lot. It's difficult for me to answer. Like, I don't want to say that, you know, she's using that as a reason. Maybe because she maybe has talked about it a little more than the actual result, because it was like there were not one or two dodgy calls, there were 3-4 dodgy calls. So maybe that is why she has talked a little more about it. If she had won, she would have said, like, this is just speculation and my opinion. I'm not forcing my opinion on anybody, but maybe she would have said that our team did so well in spite of like we got the results in spite of decisions going not going our way. So it's difficult for me to answer, but I do feel that managers, and they do this, that's common, that's not an insult on any particular manager, because if you don't get the win, of course you'll see, were there external factors that led to that loss or a draw? Yes, there were. And for Villa to think that is completely fair for them. Like, we as United fans, I've said that we are biased right now in saying that yes, that was a red card, that wasn't a red card, because decisions went our way. So for us to say that yes, Maya Letizia should have been booked more, it doesn't feel right to me, honestly. So that's why I don't say it. But yeah, maybe because there were many external factors in that game which led to that loss. I can understand Carla's point of view. So I would say I'm with Natalie on this. And that's no disrespect to Carla Ward at all. I think I rate her a lot. And yeah, I think under Villa, there's another question that somebody has put on that. Is like question for Villa fans: is there a pressure on Carla Ward this season to finish at least fourth? I think, like, just to answer this and just to phase this question into the conversation, I think not exactly pressure, because obviously there is this talk of the traditional big four, which I don't really like, because yeah, you know, United have been excluded from the top three for so long, and now that we are in the top three, people are calling it big four. Like, I don't understand this at all. So I do feel Villa have all the tools to get fourth position. Like, they should be challenging for top three, because they do have a good side. But like, calling it pressure, like, yes, the expectations are high, but it isn't like pressure that, oh my god, if I don't get into the top 4, I might get sacked, because that is the kind of pressure that I think this question is referring to. I don't think there's that kind of a pressure, but there are expectations from Villa because they've been on a rise lately, and last season was just amazing. And I do feel either so at least one of the top 4 teams will definitely lose momentum towards the end of the season, and that would be the perfect time for Villa to get into the 4th position, or maybe 3rd even. Like, I'm not even counting them out from the Champions League places.
Yeah, I mean, Freya, Lindsay, Tom has said no, he'd be happy with 5th. Who wants to go first? Freya, go on.
Yeah, I'll go in. Yeah, we agree with Tom because, Carla Ward said very openly, look, we want to show people that last year wasn't a fluke and that we are here, we are building, we're consolidating, where if we finish 5th again, that's still progression because we've solidified that we can get that and we have the ability to. I think 4th would be great. Of course it was, even top 3, but we were being realistic with who we've got, the team we've got, kind of who we can take points off. And I think the whole ethos really, and I'm sure Lindsay hopefully agrees, that what Carla Ward's building is the ability to compete against the top teams and take points off them. So if we are doing that, then that does count as success in getting there. So I don't think there's, like you said, pressure in terms of, oh, I'm going to get sacked if I don't finish this place. But you've got to remember we were 10th, we were 9th, and then 5th. So there was that massive jump. And again, we just need to prove that we are top half of the table. We are best of the rest, even though that name's, awful. But yeah, Lindsay, what do you
think? Yeah, I agree. I think for us, it's about building on what we've got, with what we've got, because when you look at some of the teams, right, yes, we've got superstars in our team, but when you look at them compared to Chelsea and look at how many superstars they've got, it's almost like we're not bargain basement shopping, but the funds that we've got allow us to spend in an area where we can't afford, like the Magda Ericssons and all that kind of thing, and the Pernilla Harders. We can't afford that at this moment in time. But what we've got is really good, and what we're building is really good. We've got Daphne. Like, you don't get a better keeper than Daphne. I think she's one of the best in the world. No disrespect to Man United fans, but she just is. And I think that if we can build the gap between 4th and 5th to be smaller than it was last season, then that is a success. And having a run in the cup, even if we don't get to the end and get a trophy out of it, if we carry the cup run, I think that's what success looks like this season. Would we like to get in 4th because Arsenal have had a slow start to the season, or City drop off the tempo? Absolutely. Can we do it? Absolutely. We've got that squad. We have the quality. But are we going to win the league? Not this season. I don't think this season is going to go for us. Maybe next season. But I think we can keep building. And as we keep building, we will attract even better players. And then as we do that, we'll be able to evolve. So like you've done, you've had, was it 5 years in WSL? And you look at, Jace, you're attracting players like that are just fantastic. And I think if we can keep making that momentum, keep having Carla as such a good manager, people manager, then we can really, go places, and we can be in the top as well. And we can be pushing you right to the very end. But for us, we dropped a lot of points from silly mistakes, tired legs, injuries, didn't have a lot of squad depth. And we've dealt with that this season. So I'm hoping that, we can push for 4th, but if we can close the gap between 4th and 5th, then that'll be better. And, we have some absolutely amazing talent in that team. And there's calls for some of our players to get in the England squad. So that's how you've got a really good team. So I'm hoping that we can do that. But pressure on Carla, I think for Carla, it's about building and foundations and being a progressive move forward rather than being a one-trick pony. And that's what we want. And the fans want to see someone other than Chelsea win the league. So, everybody's behind us, whether they're behind you, whether they're behind us. We're hoping, you do it because you've got the firepower to do it this season. So hopefully, it'll be a really competitive season.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what we're going for. I've seen people saying, the expectation. Mark said it himself. We want a trophy now, and that's what we'll be going for. And, Atanu did say, and you've sort of said it, Lindsay, and I said it to a few Villa fans, you are where we were a couple of years ago, and I think you just have to keep building on that. And then, like what Atanu says, it was always top three when we were finishing fourth. Now we've finished second. City finished fourth. Oh, it's a top four. But we know that. This is just a quick one for, I suppose, you two Villa fans. And then I'm going to show a video for Reds, just, I suppose, in the build-up to Friday. But Vix has asked you Villa fans, we were talking about finishing fourth, closing the gap, this kind of thing. If that's the case, who do you want and who do you think will win on Friday? I suppose it's two questions. Freya, what do you think? Oh, you're on mute.
That's the first time I've done that in so long. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so it's a hard one because when you think Arsenal and you look at their firepower and you look at quality on paper and you think, that squad, how much money's in that squad for starters? It seems like he signed the whole world in that transfer window when we were going through them. And you think ideally Arsenal should be able to not walk it, not at all, but you'd think Arsenal should be able to come up with the win at least. But the form they've been on, so knocked out of Champions League, lost at the weekend, and you just think that's either going to completely knock them or they're going to come back raring to go and with so much firepower. So I think it depends what team shows up on the night, but with the quality you guys have shown so far and who you've got in your team, I mean, the fact, like Lindsay said, like you've got Jace, like the fact that she's come from Barcelona and she's now a striker, it's like, right, okay, game on. So I think if anything, it'll be a fantastic match. I can't wait to watch it. And for the league, it'd be really interesting. But it'd be really good to see you guys win actually for that one. And again, that pressure we were talking about will then be on Jonas to be like, right, okay, what is going wrong? What isn't clicking, what's not happening? Because if you bring that many new people in, either Lindsay's favorite phrase is kind of plug and play players. So like Jill Road came straight in on the goal, really showing off. Or some need more time to gel. So it's a case of which team turns up on the night. Lindsay, what do you reckon? Who's going to win?
I agree with you. I think Arsenal are having a really rough time at the moment. They're just not gelling. They're not playing their best. Players are. I think they're trying to shoehorn them into a squad, and it's not working. It will click, but my gut feeling is for Arsenal is that Arsenal won't click until Viv Miedema's back, and she's the glue that is going to make that Arsenal squad come on fire, and then they're going to have a massive run on the title. They're just going to turn it round. But that also depends on how long it takes Viv to get fit. So, and I look at the team that you've got, and Mark Skinner has eased the players in, like you said, and that was quite surprising, but it was a really bold statement to do because it could have gone very wrong. But with the quality of players that you've got, I think if you carry on performing like you did at the weekend, I think you've got all the chance of winning. The only problem is if Arsenal click, and then it's going to be a tight one. But for us, for me, the favourite is United, and I'd like to see United go there and get some points because that's more points on the board. And then you're challenging at the top as someone else to win the WSL. So I'd like to see that. But controversial, but I'd like to see it. But I think Arsenal at the moment are in trouble. And if they don't hurry up and click, they are going to be looking at fourth at the end of the season.
Yeah. Although I am a massive Lena Hurtig fan, so if she could score, that would be great. You guys can win, but she can get on the score sheet. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Arsenal fifth. That's what I'm predicting.
Arsenal fifth, Villa in fourth. That's what we love to see. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to post something now. So we've had a little scoop and everyone watching's got a special little scoop here. Asif Berhan, he writes for Forbes. He was in Mark Skinner's press conference today, and he did an interview with Leah Galton, so he's going to talk about them both. It's a couple of minutes, guys, and then we'll talk, and then we can go. But yeah, check out this.
It's Asif Berhan. I'm the women's football correspondent for Forbes. I've just come off the pre-match press conference with Mark Skinner ahead of what could be a pivotal 2 weeks in Manchester United's season as they face 4 games in 13 days, including both legs of the Champions League tie against Paris Saint-Germain. Speaking to him ahead of their first of those 4 games against Arsenal on Friday night, he told me that he actually believes that TV might have helped United on this occasion by moving that game forward to Friday night at the start of this busy period, which will actually give his players an extra 2 days to rest and recover. He said that he believes that these next 4 games will test his squad like never before, and he is open to rotation, in his words, at some point, but probably not for this game on Friday. After the dramatic injury time victory against Aston Villa on Sunday, he said that his belief in his team meant that he actually felt calm when United fell behind to Rachel Daly's goal. And watching that game, other teams will know they will never be able to relax against his team, as they are, in his own words, relentless to the end, like a quality they share with the great Manchester United men's sides of the past. I asked him about the return of Alessia Russo to LSV on Friday night. He was very keen to deflect away from such off-field issues, but he stated quite clearly that she's not my player anymore, and his players would know that her weaknesses and how best to exploit them. He preferred instead to focus on his new recruits like JC, who he keeps on saying has qualities that Russo didn't have, such as the ability to run in behind and stretch defences. I'm sure it was in reference to her that last week he said that some of his new players had a presence about them when they walk into a room, which reminded him of some of the greats in the past, like Eric Cantona. He didn't read too much into Arsenal's defeat against Liverpool on Sunday, despite Jonas Eidevall's baffling tactics, which overloaded the left side and left huge gaps on the right side. Although he admired the way Liverpool played in that game, he said that he doesn't play like Liverpool, and Manchester United are a ball possession team. So, and Arsenal are the kind of side that can change their tactics and formation game by game. Last week, I spoke to Leah Galton for an article on Forbes, which you can read now. She told me it took her a while to get used to the different things that Mark Skinner expected of her and asked her to do in games, and she's still learning. But she says that her 10 league goals last season, which made her joint top scorer for United in the league, is evidence that she is now playing perhaps the best football of her career. She, of course, shares an agent with Russo, so was more forthcoming on the reaction that Russo might receive at LSV on Friday. Leah said that she hopes that she deserves nothing less than a great reception and hopes that everyone else in the stadium will give her one too. Whether that happens will remain to be seen.
Bang. My guy. Asif, go and check him out. Like he says, he's got Mark Skinner press conference and he had an interview with Leah. Just listening to him and what he said, I just want to come to a turn. Anything that stood out there that you want to talk about, or, you know?
I think the way that he talked, like Asif and like the post-match, like the presser quotes as well that we've read in the morning. I think the way that he talked about, like the way he tackled the Alessia Russo question, that really shows that yes, like we are showing that we have moved on, and it's not about homecoming or anything. Now she's an Arsenal player, so it's over. Like we are not going to think, oh my God, Alessia Russo played for us. It's a fresh start for her. It's a fresh start for us, for her, and a fresh start for us. So I feel the way that he tackled the question was really good, and then the way that he didn't touch too much about Arsenal. Like he praised Liverpool, but at the same time he didn't talk much about Arsenal's performance and the way they were set up. So yeah, like he's focusing on United only, and these mind games. Like he's not the one to play these mind games, I feel, which are needed sometimes. But yeah, that's what I think.
No, I agree. And he did say, I read further, he did say about Alessia, she's in opposition now, and that's how we'll handle it, really, which I think is fair. Freya, Lindsay, I mean, I know you're not playing Arsenal for a while. Sun Devils, you already talked about it. But, I suppose the Man United Arsenal is the first game of the weekend, and I know you guys are playing on Sunday. And you're playing Liverpool, who beat Arsenal, so it's sort of everyone's playing everyone. But what do you think? What do you think about what Asif said? And just, what's the comments going in? And just go on, Freya or Lindsay, whoever wants to go first.
I remember seeing that on Twitter earlier, actually, about Mark Skinner saying that. And I think he's absolutely right. Yes, he knows Alessia really, really well, but that also serves United really well because he knows her weaknesses. He knows how to exploit her in that sense. So it's being able to look at them as the opposition and not making kind of a big deal about Alessia coming back and just treating her as, she's on the other team now, she's gone. And I think that's really sensible, and saying, well, actually, we know how they're set up. We know how we can have the ball. Because I was just looking as we were talking about the stats of United Villa, and, you did dominate. You had the most shots. You had the most everything. So it's all about if you guys can just convert that into goals and be able to make that impact and really push them. But yeah, Lindsay, what do you think?
I agree with what you're saying, and I think the media is a bit naughty because they like to make problems where there aren't, and I think they're fueling the trolling and the negativity to Alessia when the decision realistically was between, sorry, my voice is going, between United and her agent and Arsenal, and I just think it's creating a problem that isn't there, which is then going to put unfair pressure on the players. So I don't like it when they go after players. I know it's left a bit of taste in United's mouth, same as Rabjon to United left a bit of taste in our mouth. So I'm not sitting there saying,
Oh, no, you're gone. You're back. You're not.
Oh, sorry. I do think with the press, they need to quiet it down and focus on the game and the tactics rather than who's done what, because I think it's just detracting from the game. But I think that because how she plays, I think you've got a really good chance of containing her, and it just means that they've got to be on their A game with supply. And if you've got Maya and Millie in the middle, I can't see her getting much past them because they're so good. So it's going to be Arsenal are going to have to really push their game to take points away, and I think that you've got it not got it in the bag, but I'm quite confident that you will do really well.
Yeah, and I want to touch on what Freya just said then about the whole, we just didn't put in and you contained us really well, and I do think that currently Arsenal's defence isn't the best. There's a lot of talk around Zinsberger. I think a lot of them shots that Jace had that, Domslar saved, potentially Zinsberger isn't saving them. That's just my opinion. So, I think it's open. I mean, like you're saying, Arsenal are a good side. They've got great players. They can punish us. But I'm also very confident that Jace running in behind with a lot of women, and Zinsberger in goal. I'm just excited for it, really. That's all I can say. And they're going to have to be absolutely on their A game. And, Mark even talked about it rocking at LSV and it's sold out. And that's what you want to say. I'm excited for it. I know, people want all the games at big stadiums. I love big stadiums, but I think, the men are playing on Saturday, so it wasn't possible. It is what it is. And I'm just excited for this game. Lanzel's saying the 3Gs. Yeah, got a better bench now. We should be well equipped. And then we got Paris. It's non-stop. So there is going to be a rotation. We're going to see new people. As I said, he might not rotate this game, but I think we'll see more subs. And then obviously I think it's Paris. So I don't know. I think we'll definitely see more subs with Paris in mind. But I don't know. It's going to be hard, isn't it? Because if it's 1-1, you don't want to take Jays off, do you really? But let's see. I just want to touch, and I suppose, Atanu, do you want to say anything on that?
No, nothing out of the blue. I think we have all the reinforcements we need to beat Arsenal, and now that they're struggling, No excuses, honestly, because I do not think that they'll automatically, magically, balance everything. Like,
Mm.
it'll take them some time, because there are many new players. Many players are coming back from injury. Some of them aren't even back now. So I think the real Arsenal season would start after December or January, or whenever Viv is back. So I do agree with Freya on that point. Or was it Lindsay? I don't remember who made that point, but
It
yeah,
was me.
We can
yeah.
share it. It's
So
fine.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that point is actually true, that they need Miedema back to actually, create the perfect team, because once she's back, obviously you cannot leave her out of the starting 11 ever, because she's just that good. And it might take her some time to get back into the groove as well, because she's been out for a while now. So United have everything, like United have everything in their arsenal to beat Arsenal. And yeah, it'll be a good game. But I wanted to know, like, that's Natalie mentioned that everybody's playing everybody, because now Liverpool are playing Villa as well. I think Liverpool are at home. So what are your thoughts, Freya and Lindsay? Like, do you think, like, I personally think Villa would win this game, because they are like a wounded animal right now after losing 2-1 towards in the dying minutes of the game. So they'll bounce back for sure. And I feel Carla Ward has something, like she'll do some magic and win, like, convincingly well. So what do you guys think?
I think they'll be absolutely fuming after that last match. So I think they're going to come out fighting at Liverpool. But we were saying in our blog that we wrote this week, it'd be really good to see Adriana Leon start, because she's a right firecracker. When she comes on, she's so fast, she's so quick, feet are brilliant. And it's, yeah, obviously she left you guys to come to us, but like, she's given that opportunity, you can tell that she's fighting. And I think again, talking about that ethos of the players, they're all fighting, they're all giving everything. Like Lucy Parker, the amount of times she was knocked down at the weekend, got back up, and we thought she broke ribs at one point, didn't we, Lindsay? But she got straight back up, and we're like, right, okay, that's what we want.
Yeah, we didn't talk much about Lucy Parker, because I feel really bad that she didn't join us and she joined Villa, because I really wanted her, because you see, she's such an
Not
amazing player,
underrated.
versatile as well. She can play CDM, she can play centre back as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can go on. Sorry, I interrupted. Yeah.
No, it's fine. We'll take the Lucy Parker love. That's fine. But she had loads of interest from other clubs as well, and it just shows you again that magic of Carla Ward. Well, there's something about Villa. There's something that's growing there that's attracting all these massive names. Like again, just quickly, Van Domselaar. There was 13, 14 clubs interested, and she chose Villa, and it shows you that there's some magic there, and they're going to be pushing, because Liverpool, again, we should be beating them, and we should quite comfortably beat them. I think Liverpool will be on a high from beating Arsenal. So again, might come back, they might go 1-0 up, and that might click us into, right, okay, we need to get back into this. But it's a late one as well, because I was meant to be going, but I get up at 5:30 in the morning, so it'd be a late one. But yeah, so I don't know how that will come into play. Lindsay, what do you think about the next one?
I think not having Hanson is going to be a game changer for us, and that it's how we adapt. And if we can, because she works so hard up and down that wing, and I just think if we can get, because I know Simone McGill is carrying an arc, Adriana Leon isn't quite 90 minutes, Layman isn't 90 minutes, so it's how we set ourselves up. But if we can do it, then we stand a really good chance. And it's a team that we should be taking points off. No disrespect to Liverpool, but we should be taking points. But I just hope that Hanson isn't too much of a miss, because when she was out last season, mainly when we played you, because you're a parent club, it was a big miss, and it was really obvious she was one of the key players. So if we can cover that, then fantastic, and we'll do really, really well, and hopefully we'll come away with 3 points and start our season off properly.
Can I just ask, I suppose, the Villa girls, is Kenza back, or is that just a couple of weeks still? Or you don't know?
I don't think they've given a definite when, but it was definitely a knee that she's got knocked to, and she's still. I don't think she's back in training. I don't know for definite. So yeah, we're essentially thinking Kenza won't be there Sunday. But Maz was on the bench last game, so she should hopefully
be there.
be back. I think she was poorly.
She was cleared by the doctor at 6 a.m. on match day, so hopefully she had a lurgy. She had what I've got, so I blame Maz. So I think she'll be back and fighting, and then that'll be better for us. But missing Daly's a big one, and we have got Knobs as well, so to bring on, that's quite good. Closing the ends of games and working. I mean, what she brought to the game for us the weekend was she closed the gaps that we had. She goes quite underrated for the work that she does. So hopefully, between what we've got enough to get it over the line, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I do think Villa will beat Liverpool. Like I said, Kenza and Hanson will be misses, but I mean, I suppose I know we've not really talked loads about United Arsenal, and so it's a bit weird that I'm jumping ahead here, but if United, I mean, we're confident, let's say, that United, we're going out to win. We want to win. I think even we saw it, like what Mark said about even when Daly scored, we were still confident that we were going to win. It's that kind of feeling, isn't it? You only had for a few minutes, and I do feel the difference. I even went to watch the men's on the Saturday, and the difference in the teams was just chalk and cheese. And them girls, they know that they're going to win, and that's he said it's not tactics, it's mentality now, and it's in our team, that feeling. So hopefully Man United get the 3 points, so that's 0 points from 2 if if everything goes the way we want. And then it's the Emirates again, where they it's great that they get the big crowd, but they don't get the results. They've not had maybe Spurs, but yeah, come on. They played us, they lost. They played Chelsea, drew. They played Wolfsburg, lost. I know they beat Bayern, but it's sort of, and I couldn't believe they lost to Liverpool. So obviously, like I said, I know I'm jumping ahead, but Kenza might be back then. We said that Kirsty's not. Leon might be able to play a bit more minutes by then, like you say, Maz. I don't like to jump ahead, but I am gonna. Girls, what do you think? Do you think, you can make it, if everything, you could add to their woes? And then we're talking about pressure, but I think the manager with the most pressure currently is Jonas. They have to, because they got knocked out of the Champions League. For me, they have to win a league. Like, full stop. Maybe the FA Cup and finish in second. That would, I'm not an Arsenal fan, so Arsenal fans will say, oh, mind my business. But for me, a team like Arsenal, we're talking about big money. We're talking about 400k nearly they spent on Cooney Cross. We saw what they spent on Russo. She's apparently the highest paid player in the WSL. This is not little money thing. And, like you're saying, they've probably spent $1 million in the whole transfer window, or over $1 million. Do you think Villa could go there and cause an upset? Because if Liverpool can do it, you've got to think you can, don't you?
Well, we did at the end of last season, didn't we? Beat them 2-0. I was there for that one. That was great. I think, no, you're right about the league, because, they haven't got Champions League. They need a trophy. They need something to be able to justify the spending and kind of everything. Because, again, it's Arsenal. They should be winning. They should be up there. They need to be the big name. So I think we can definitely push them. We can definitely compete. We can definitely go and, yes, hope we can win. But in the back of our minds, it's still Arsenal, and they should give us a good run for our money. So, again, I think a draw against them wouldn't be the end of the world. But yeah, we'd love the win, and if they're still on the form they're in, then yeah, I'd say we could do that. Lindsay, what do you reckon? We'll get 3 off Arsenal?
I reckon we can get at least 1 point off them, the way they're playing at the moment and the way they're set up. Because if you look at Ebony Salmon, how fast she is, and you look at Lotta and you look at Jen Beattie, they're not going to keep up with Ebony. When she put her skates on at the weekend, she was just gone. And I pointed to you and I was like, that's a machine. She's just gone. So I think if we can get the service to the girls, then we stand a really good chance of causing an upset, which is only better for your title push and for everybody else. But I think this side of Christmas, if you get your games in with Arsenal this side of Christmas before Viv's back, I think it'll be a different animal to what you'll play when Viv's fully back.
Agreed. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and I watch Houston Dash a lot as well. So I personally feel Ebony Salmon down the middle is very lethal. She's good on the wings, but like where Daly plays, if Salmon is playing that position, she's going to be unstoppable. And we've seen her play really good for Bristol as well in the past. For United, she didn't play much, but like she has that WSL experience. So this signing of Ebony Salmon, my like people were like I saw a few people say, oh my God, she hasn't performed well for Dash. Can she really do it at Villa? I personally think having Leon, Daly, Hansen, Lehman, I don't know if it's Lehman or the pronunciation, but yeah, and you were like some amazing players. And I personally feel how Salman was set up, like when she was brought on in against United, a lot many times she was switching places and she was running down the middle along with Daly. So playing a 4-4-2, like I get into formations a lot, so please don't mind that, but playing up top of Daly and Salman would be amazing. And I personally feel that you play Arsenal in the third game, right after Liverpool, you play Arsenal. So I'm really happy to see, like I would be really happy to see Arsenal lose and you guys get the win, and that would mean that you guys are 6 points ahead of them. Like you'll win the Liverpool game, you'll win the Arsenal game, so you're 6 points ahead of them. We'll be 9 points ahead of them. So, like Lindsay mentioned, it'll help our title charge, honestly.
Yeah, that sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah.
Matt, you're mute.
I agree with Sun Devil. It probably depends how they play on Friday and the result they get. So yeah, let's just set the ball in motion, Reds. Yeah, let's set it in motion.
We are planning 2-3 games ahead of us. Like
Yeah,
this is a proper
no,
planning going
we
on.
need to just look, tunnel vision. But no, listen, I'm excited for Friday. Everyone who's in the comments or have been liking, or even if you're just gonna watch on telly, it's gonna be a good one. Make sure you get it on. It's gonna be rocking, as he says. Listen, guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Everyone who's still watching, everyone who watched at the start. It's been a good show, hour and 22. Thanks for everyone. Had constantly like 20s, 30s watching. So, just keep dropping likes, subscribe. Content will keep coming. Lanzell, we're winning this year. Let's go. Yep. Yeah, we are. Let's do it. Girls, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Freya, Lindsay, tell people about your podcast and, just where they can find you and stuff.
Yeah, so thank you very much for having us on. Really, really enjoyed it. Hope to do it again soon sometime. But yeah, we're the whole 115 yards. We are across all social media, same handle. We're there, and we provide kind of analysis, commentary. We write blogs for Villa News and for the F Media as well. And we do our podcast, which is across, again, wherever you get your podcasts. And we are aiming for one a week at the moment. And yeah, they're going down really well. So yeah, come and join in the conversation. We love reaching out, making new friends across all the clubs in the WSL and abroad as well. So yeah, Lindsay, anything else I missed?
No, I think you've got that sorted, boss.
But yeah, come say hi to us. Thank you.
No worries. John, what do you mean you're in the Arsenal end? Sort yourself out, get in the North stand. Anyway, Atanu, Bossman, thank you for coming on, joining us. Shout out anything. Is there anything that people should know?
Yeah, nothing. Follow the whole 115 yards and follow us on our Twitter as well. Subscribe to the channel. Follow everybody's social media handles. We'll tag everybody in the tweet as well when we post a post video tweet. So do follow the accounts and manifesting Arsenal losing all their upcoming games, going invincible in terms of losses and not in terms of wins. So yeah.
Let's do it. Take care, guys. See you soon.
Bye.